joining. Looks like we got quite a few attendees here on this webinar. The intention of our time today is to share some updates coming out of HPE, specifically in regards to their storage platform, some really exciting announcements, and next generation approach to managing storage and really the entire data center. So we're going to cover the May 4th announcement. I'm sure that some folks are with me. I can't believe it's already May. We're almost halfway through this year. But there was a big announcement that came out of HPE last week. We're going to review that and really talk about the why behind HPE Nimble upgrades and what that means for the future and what the future vision is for HPE storage and data center. We're going to also touch on HPE Greenlake and as well as the timeless upgrade options that HPE offers with their storage platforms. Today, I have joining with me John Bennett with HPE. My name is Jesse Kegley. I'm one of the managing partners with Emerge. We're going to do this kind of briefly. Hopefully everybody got connected with their lunch gift certificates and you're enjoying a bite to eat while we go through this webinar. It should last just about 30 minutes. Again, if there are questions, we encourage you to submit those questions in the chat via the WebEx meeting app, and Amanda will help us field those questions as we go on throughout the webinar. So without further ado, John, I'll kick it over to you. Thanks everyone again for joining, and then I'll come back and wrap us up after we're done.
Thanks a lot, Jesse. I appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me today. I am John Bennett, the HPE storage specialist for the SMB commercial space in Kentucky, West Virginia, and Southwest Ohio, the Cincinnati area. A lot's going on in regards to HPE. Last week, as Jesse mentioned, we had a huge announcement. It was under double secret probation, locked tight for a long time, and we knew about it when you knew about it. But it's pretty exciting. And today we are going to talk about the next gen of Nimble, going into, and we'll roll into some benefits of Greenlake and what Greenlake is with HPE, and we'll finish up with Timeless and how that can help your business. But the goal today is to make this conversational, so please ask questions in the chat bar. We want to answer them if at all possible. There may be some things you throw at us that are so new that we may not know the answer, but we'll be sure to get back to you. But Amanda and Jesse, thanks so much for having me. So we're going to jump right in here. Let me share my screen. Okay, wonderful. Can everybody see my screen, Amanda?
Yeah, yep, it is up and ready to go.
Wonderful. So, what's this big announcement? So last week, HPE unveiled the Electra line, the 6000 and the 9000. So those are going to be additional product offerings on the storage side, but we are still going to be offering the Gen 5 Nimbles as well as the Primeras for the foreseeable future under that name. The 6000 is going to be a next-gen Nimble in a sense. It has Nimble DNA, if you may, and the 9000 has the Primera DNA. So you can kind of think of those as the next iterations of both Nimble and Primera. For this conversation, we've got several existing Nimble clients on the call. So we're going to speak about the Electra for the most part for those business critical workloads. The 6 nines of availability that you've grown to love with the Nimble platform. As you look to the left on the Electra, that is for the mission critical workloads, and that provides a 100% SLA uptime, which is pretty strong, and it's also a customer self-installable. Good stuff. So both the 6000 and the 9000 new gens, I say new gen, recent announcements, are going to have something called the data center service console. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the future, in a few more slides. But if you look in the middle of the screen, what it's going to do is provide an as-a-service platform, an as-a-service dashboard to give you eyes and ears into your storage environment, whether it be one location or 100. It's going to have a GUI that's going to make it easy to manage your environment. And a lot of this stems from InfoSight. For those of you that have Nimble today, I'm hopeful you've been able to experience InfoSight and the support model that Nimble provides. When HPE acquired Nimble a few years ago, I've been the specialist in this region for 3.5 years, and the acquisition happened just prior to me coming on board. You kept hearing about InfoSight and the support model. That support model is going to continue as Nimble customers know it today, and it really is a breath of fresh air, in my opinion, compared to some of the legacy models that are out there. There is no more sending logs in, because InfoSight is already doing that for you and making recommendations and picking up the phone and calling support and having a level 3 engineer on the other end. It's pretty strong. I ask the question often when I'm talking to my clients, what do you like most about Nimble? And this is going to prove to be true for the 6000 as well. I get 2 answers typically. It just works, and the support model is awesome. So long story short, new announcement, the 6000 and 9000 series, HPE Electro, that's going to be the next gen for HPE storage. You're going to have all flash offerings out of the gate, NVMe, and down in this fall, they're anticipating a fall launch. The 6000 will continue to offering similar to the HF series provided by Nimble today. But out of the gate, you're going to get all flash NVMe, quoting now, shipping on May the 15th, maybe May the 17th, forgive me. Okay, a little bit more. We're going to continue to focus on the 6000 series because it most likely will be the next iteration for current Nimble clients to migrate towards. We talked about 6.9 availability. It's going to be, the performance features are going to be faster, as you would anticipate. Newer hardware, a little more horsepower going to happen, but more than likely, we're going to have more IOPS than you're ever going to need. But it all comes down to the workloads. We can't stress that enough. More and more, our conversations do not go towards specs of the boxes. We don't talk speeds and feeds as often as we used to. We focus on the workloads, and by doing that, it allows us to have a pretty good understanding as to what you're trying to accomplish and recommend hardware accordingly. So we've got a store more guarantee that's going to continue with the new series. We stand behind stating that we're going to store more data than the competition, and we've got tools in place to be able to do that for you and understand what type of savings you would incur prior to moving forward. But that's called our store more guarantee. That's going to continue, and HPE really does stand behind making sure that Nimble as well as Electra is going to be the storage array for those organizations looking to be as efficient as possible with the amount of data they're storing.
Hey, John,
Yes.
we just had a question come in. Is your 5-to-1 applicable on DICOM, DICOM medical images?
So that's when I mentioned those tools. So images typically don't compress very well. Videos and images, those sometimes can cause challenges with compression and dedupe, and you don't see the savings as you might see on other applications. So we have tools that we can run to give you an idea based on the data that we'll be ingesting. We can run these tools to give you a better idea as to the amount of savings you're going to see. And in engagement with Emerge and HPE, together we can provide you what you would expect to see in this new environment, whether it be Electra or Gen 5 Nimble. Thanks, Amanda. Whomever asked that question, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it was Harold, and he said that's what I thought. So thank you.
Good deal. All right, so we talk about the data center or data service cloud console. I'm still getting used to the acronym myself. This is a SaaS-based dashboard that will allow you to manage your fleet from anywhere. I say manage your fleet. A lot of organizations typically may just have one location for production. Ideally, we'd like you to have production and DR in separate places, but the reality is that it doesn't always happen that way, right? I used to work in the data center world for a long time at Peak 10, now called Flex Central, and DR sometimes is an insurance policy, or maybe you're leveraging Emerge's backup offering and business continuity offering where they're able to replicate your Nimbles to their data centers. So sometimes you may only have one location, but the data center service console out of the gate is going to provide fleet management opportunities for you to manage your fleet very easily through the GUI dashboard that you see in front of you. Now that's not I haven't gotten all the bells and whistles on the GUI dashboard and what exactly it looks like, but this kind of gives you an idea as to what to expect. And the data that it's pulling, it's similar to InfoSight to where it's pulling the heuristics and metadata from your arrays. It's not pulling the actual data. So for those of you concerned about security and compliance, PHI, all that fun stuff, we're not touching that, just like we weren't touching that with InfoSight. That's going to remain on-prem and does not go into the HPE environment. Let's say you have to deploy a new workload. Well, intent-based provisioning is something that we've come up with to make it easier for everybody to get those resources available to those departments requesting them. So intent-based provisioning, you're going to hear a lot about that with this data center services console, or data service cloud console, I should say. That's a big talking point for us, trying to make it easy. Upgrades, Nimble in the past has always been easy to upgrade for those of you that have had Nimble and have done upgrades during the middle of the day. It's non-disruptive. And now, granted, I'm hopeful everybody on this call and everybody that is watching this on the replay has had a seamless experience with upgrades, but every now and then you have something that comes up. But you're going to continue to see that upgrade path be non-disruptive and extremely easy to deploy. And as I mentioned a moment ago, you're going to be able to manage your fleet from anywhere with the Data Service Cloud Console. We are going that SaaS path, and trying to bring that storage together is a big pull in a sense, and it's pretty exciting. It's continuing to go down the Nimble path, and what has made Nimble successful and what will continue to make Nimble successful is that ease of management, leveraging InfoSight to help you guys and girls run your data centers as efficiently as possible. All right, we talked about our data center data services cloud console. If you can imagine, let's say, hey Jesse, I hate to put you on the spot here. What backup technology do you guys like the most, or not? Let's say use most regularly outside of your own? Are you a Veeam shop, if I remember correctly?
And data mover platforms, but Veeam would be a great example.
Okay, Veeam's a good example. In the near future, the data services cloud console is going to become like an app store. So let's say you want to try out Veeam. A couple clicks, you're ready to go. So envision an app store feel for your arrays with the APIs ready to go. That's what this is going to morph into. So as any app store, you got to crawl before you walk, right? So we're going to begin to put certain applications in there, and the partners are going to be in the loop the whole time. But Jesse's seen a lot of changes over the years in regards to making it easy for clients, right? And the different providers are trying to do their things to give you guys a great experience. This is going to continue to move in that direction. And let's say you want to try Veeam out. Boom, couple clicks, you're there. And maybe it's, hey, I want to try out this, that, or the other, Commvault or something, and it's not backup specific, but maybe it's a software-defined play or something along those lines. The Data Services Cloud Console is going to give you eyes and ears to those products, and your partner will be in the loop as well, because they're going to get notified of some of the things that you're doing to help out if there is a need. Jesse, did you have any questions on this thus far? Did anything piquing your interest?
No, I don't. No questions, but I'll just comment. I think it's the right move for HPE, right? Visibility and control is one of the most valuable aspects of this infrastructure. HPE was successful incorporating InfoSight when HPE acquired Nimble a ways back, right? So seeing them continue to expand upon the visibility and control aspects, I think, is a real value add, and we're excited to see that continue to evolve for us and for our clients.
And you touch on, taking InfoSight and spreading it to the masses. So today, 3.5 years ago, InfoSight was on Nimble. Today, Nimble is on our servers, on Primera, on 3PAR. So that tool is being spread amongst all of our different offerings because of what it does, right? It's gathering the data so the community can benefit from other experiences and help you operate your data center as easily and cost effectively as possible. So InfoSight really is our special sauce, in my opinion, that has gotten us to this point. I do believe Data Services Cloud Console is going to be the next iteration. You may want to call it InfoSight 2.0, but it's going to work collaboratively with InfoSight to continue to make the experience that much better. So we talk about, you're going to hear the term unified data operations quite a bit from HPE. It truly is all about the data. How can we help you get the most out of that data, to make the most sense of it, to be as profitable, make decisions based on that data? It's unified data operations. So that's a big term that's going to come out, and we are doubling down on data. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of arrays out there. They're all fast. They all do what they do. What makes us different? InfoSight has made us different in the past. What's going to make us different moving forward is InfoSight and Data Services Cloud Console, as well as truly looking at data as the most valuable asset of any organization. And we talked about the console allowing you to have a cloud-like experience, even though you own the arrays and they're sitting in your data centers. That's really what's driving this is that cloud-like experience. Again, having worked for a cloud provider and a data center provider several years ago, cloud has its place, right? Certain workloads do a great job with the cloud, but there are certain workloads that may not be as beneficial up in the cloud or in someone's cloud environment. So customers sometimes would say, you know what, John, I like the cloud, but I need to have that application on-prem. Maybe there's a latency challenge. Maybe there's hey, I just want to go down the hall and touch it. I want to make sure that I've got eyes and ears on it. But they like the management of the cloud environment. They like the pricing models of that cloud environment, only use type of approach. And these are some of the pieces that you're gonna see HPE focus on moving forward. Our CEO, Antonio Neri, 2 years ago at our sales kickoff said, by 2022, we will offer everything as a service. So making it easier for you to manage, paying for as you go. Talk about this. Forgive me. I was going to talk about HPE Greenlake here. This as a service model. So Alletra is lending to the as a service experience, and that's going to work in conjunction with what we call HPE Greenlake that is our consumption as a service offering. For example, you like the cloud model, you like only paying for what you use, but you need to have it on premise. HPE can provide that to you in either a 6,000 Electra or 9,000 Electra offering. Hey, John, you know what? I need 30, 40 terabytes of all flash. I need to sit it on my premise, and I need to have 20% cushion. I don't want to pay for that 20% cushion. No problem. You can ballpark about 11, 12 cents a gig for all flash, very similar to the cloud offerings, for that to live on your premise. In a hybrid offering, you can go down to about 6 or 7 cents a gig on for storage as you go. But HPE Greenlake is pretty cool because it provides pretty much anything HPE provides. It can be tailored to a custom solution that would give it to you as a service. Hey, I need 20 hosts. I need 500 terabytes of storage. Throw some Veeam in there. So throw some of this in there. Swizzle it up. What do I have is a model to pay for as you go per resource, the compute resources, the storage resources. All of it is a consumption model. And sometimes organizations like that. They like the flexibility, not having to purchase hardware out of the gate. And sometimes it makes sense for the business. We're having a lot of success with it. We're seeing tremendous year-over-year growth. And we like to think we're a leader in this space. It's been around for, we've had HPE Greenlake for several years now. And you're starting to see the other manufacturers begin to offer as a service offerings as well. So we're pretty excited about that. And
hey, John, got another question for you.
Yeah.
Can you tier data in the hybrid solution that moves warm and cold data to the cloud over time?
So that's a great Nimble type of question. So for Nimble, let's speak to Nimble. Nimble doesn't tier data as the traditional older, let's just say a VNX environment would tier data sometimes, hot and cold. In the hybrid Nimbles, it presents data to cache and it provides that flash-like performance, but it's not tiering data. For the all-flash piece, you're going to get the all-flash performance wherever it's going to sit in the array. Policies can be created to where you're taking older data and pushing it off to a cloud environment, but that would have to be a policy-based architecture versus Nimble doing that automatically or Electra doing that automatically. Does that make sense? Whomever asked that question?
Yeah, he said, thanks, we're doing that now.
Roger that. You're going to continue to do that. However, the cloud features, you're going to begin to see more AWS, Azure, GCP type of integrations to where you can push that off to a blob storage, maybe, for example, for that, cheap storage just to offsite it maybe, but that can be accommodated. Good questions. Thank you all. So it's all about AI, right? AI machine learning. Pretty soon, Skynet's going to operate everything, and we're just going to be in that whole new world. But AI machine learning is going to continue to be a big deal for us. And again, InfoSight. That really has set the tone for all of you existing Nimble customers. Hopefully, you've seen the value in what AI machine learning can do for your array and benefiting from others' experiences. Being able to provision workloads based on the application. Very excited about just the ease of management moving forward. If you thought Nimble was easy, you're going to be blown away with what Data Services Cloud Console is going to provide to you guys. All right. And we talked about HPE Greenlake a little bit. We can drill down a little bit more on this. We're seeing a lot of organizations with Greenlake use this as a CapEx versus an OpEx. It used to be, hey, cloud providers can give you an OpEx and you can go down that path if it makes sense. But what we're finding is accounting or financial arms of organizations are turning these into CapExes as well by paying for services ahead of time. Evidently, there's a gap way of doing things that allow you to capitalize cloud services, which is, I'm not a financial guy, but I play one on TV. I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. But as much as we talk about the finances of cloud, we're seeing a shift moving more towards CapEx versus OpEx, but every organization is different. You do HPE Greenlake, very similar to the cloud approach. You do become more efficient with the resources you're using. I can't stress that enough. Versus 10, 15 years ago, you used to buy storage that you would need 5 years from now, right? That would be hey, I think I'm going to need this in 5 years, so I'm going to go ahead and buy that. Today, you're seeing organizations get a lot more tight with that forecast. They may not be doing it 5 years from now. Maybe they're doing a year or two to have a cushion, because knowing that you can either buy another shelf or you can have extra capacity and pay for it in a consumption model is out there. And we talked about our upgrades. Again, the upgrade path with Nimble was easy. It's going to continue to go down that path, non-disruptive, automated, policy-driven, via the Data Services Cloud Console. And I want to finish up with Timeless Support. Timeless Support has been around for a long time with HPE. At the end of the day, what this does is kind of future-proof your arrays and making sure that you have the latest gen hardware moving forward. For example, if you were to purchase a Gen 5, a matter of fact, I'll give you this scenario. I sold a large bank in Kentucky a couple of arrays a couple months ago with Timeless Support. So in years 1 through 3, they're able to request an upgrade. The upgrade they'll receive is the Alletra 6000 comparative model controller with 25% increase in performance. So that's in years 1 through 3. If they renew support after year 3, they would also get another controller upgrade in years 4 through 6. So you can plan ahead pretty well, and there is no additional monies that come out of this. When you pay for Timeless Support, you pay for it out of the gate, and what basically is happening is you're getting a substantial discount for those controllers in years 1 through 3. You're paying for it ahead of time with a big time discount. But a lot of organizations like the ability to make sure they are future-proofing their environment and going from there. We sell a lot of Timeless, and you'll have to forgive me. I think Timeless is spelled wrong on my slide, so I apologize about that. I must have hit a backspace button. But if there's any questions on Timeless, please let us know. It's very similar to the pure evergreen type of approach. You're paying for upgrades out of the gate. You don't pay any additional monies moving forward. It's included in the future. Those are a few of the announcements that came out recently. I'm hopeful that it shed some light on what we're doing at HPE. We're very excited about the future. Love Nimble. Alletra 6000 is going to continue that Nimble initiative, and 9000 is going to give those mission critical applications 100% uptime to do what it does and have a lot of fun in that regard.
Perfect. Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
We're really excited about it. We've been partners with HPE for a long time, and for a while now, we've been able to cater to organizations that prefer OpEx versus CapEx through our cloud offerings, right? So seeing the industry just continue to move in that direction is good validation of our offerings. I wanted to speak briefly about Emerge here to some of the folks that may not be familiar with Emerge. We do have a host of current customers, so thank you all for continuing to work with us and for your time today. And for the new folks, Emerge, you know, I like to say by the numbers, right? We operate 3 lines of business here. We have our traditional IT infrastructure design, resale, and implementation line of business, where we're helping folks make the right decisions on IT infrastructure inside of the data center, at the network, and cybersecurity. In addition to that traditional on-premise design and implementation services, we're offering managed services. So we currently manage about 8,000 devices across our customers today. We are proud of a 97% customer retention and you know, I'll say high average tenure of resources. We believe that our people are our brand, and that makes a difference in the experience that our customers have, and that's what our customers tell us. So we're very proud of that. Amanda, I think there was one more slide here as we're coming right up on noon. Yep, these are key. You know, we have our core values: to be growth oriented, to be a leader, and to value relationships. Our Emerge purpose is to help people. That is really key to us. You know, it's our purpose as an organization isn't focused on technology. It's focused on people and the organizations that rely on Emerge for help. And then, you know, differentiators in terms of doing the right thing, having a professional integrity. That's feedback that we get from our clients. We have a broad bench, and we're able to provide solutions, even if it's not inside of our core offering. We're going to be able to provide those solutions and bring the right folks to the table, and always be focused on the results. We are a results-oriented organization. We have to have the focus on the outcomes, from design to implementation and to support. So again, thank you, John, for your time today and sharing the latest news on HPE's announcement. Thank you for our customers that continue to work with us and your time today. And for the new folks, thank you for your time, and hopefully this was beneficial to you. I think that wraps us up. We're right at about noon, so we're able to make the timeline on the brief webinar here. Stay tuned, stay connected to our social channels. We're going to continue to have webinar type events like this, so we hope to get some engagement, some attention from everybody in the future. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.